Jenkinsburg, 322F.
Today we're getting a good look at 322. The Golden Peanut Company, can't say I ever heard of them. This concludes a look at my train. The rest of the video, I thought I'd talk a little bit. Stick around. You might say something interesting. Viewers, I've extracted a few photos from this train that I thought I might talk about a little bit. Maybe some things you might not have noticed, or some things I felt like I wanted to talk about. How many of my viewers noticed the bell in front of the fuel tank right here on this locomotive? You ever wonder where the bell is on a locomotive nowadays? There she be. Sign on this covered hopper says South Down Incorporated Cement Products. There's a cut of cars going by. There's nothing but pure Portland cement. I wish I had $1 for every time I've had to go to various cement companies and help them open their sliding doors on the bottom of this thing, or fix one that's broke. I've laid under these cars with a torch, cutting a hole in the bottom of the door when we couldn't get the door open. We get cement out of it, and we had to cut a big old hole in the bottom of it. I mentioned in one of my videos the other day about the vibrator pockets on the side of these cars. You can see them right here on the side of the hoppers. But I do wish I had $1 for every time I had to go work on one of these cars, or get one back on the tracks. Let's take a look at this old Kansas City Southern box car. Right here on the left, you can see the ladder on the side of the car, and the step where people step up to get on the car. There's a step on all four corners. Well, that step extends down from the side of the car. How many of you know the name of what that step is called? It's simply called a sill step because it's bolted straight to the side sill of the car. That lower portion below the floor there on the side of the car is called a side sill. Once again, I wish I had $1 for every time I've had to heat and straighten one with a heating torch, or repair one or replace one that's bent too bad to straighten. The Federal Railway Administration downright critical if a railroad runs one that's not safe for somebody to climb up on. Now we look at a Norfolk Southern covered gun. You can see the sill step on it has 2 treads. Not all sill steps are single tread. Sometimes they get dang right complicated to manufacture one of these booger bears and straighten one. But you gotta have more than one tread to get up on the platform of this thing. Now this covered gun is really a gondola, but they call it a covered gun because that round top, the whole thing where you see Norfolk Southern stenciled, just lifts right off. The shipper has a big crane, overhead crane, that just lifts the whole top off the car. And what's in these cars is rolled steel. Big, huge 10, 12,000 pound rolls of steel. There'd be a whole roll of them in there, and the floor has little V's in it where the roll of steel just fits right down in there. It's kind of interesting to watch how they get them booger bears out of there. You wouldn't think a covered gun would be heavy, but them rolls of steel weigh buku of tons. They have to cover these steel to keep them from rusting. Rolled steel is used from everything to stamping out washing machines and refrigerators and car bodies. You wouldn't imagine what all rolled steel is used for. My little vlog's starting to get a little bit too long. I had to cut out and drop some of the pictures I had in here because I wanted to talk about one more thing, and that's graffiti on the side of these cars. How many of you can read what's written on the side of these cotton-picking cars? If you can, you got a higher education than I do, and I'm a pretty smart little fella when it comes to reading. It absolutely amazes me how so many people condone putting graffiti on the side of these railroad cars. These are privately owned on private property. How would you like it if I came to your house and painted the side of your old Oldsmobile or Buick because you thought, because my friends thought it was cool? You wouldn't appreciate it one little bit, so why do you think the railroad would appreciate somebody painting all the markings off their car? You can't read none of this nonsense. Some dope addict or some crack-smoking dude wrote it up there. He might not be able to read it. But I look at some of these cars. You can just only imagine what they're saying on here. And then there's one I saw that I could actually figure out what it was. And let me show it to you. Here it is. I figured out what this is. It's a selfie from one of them dope-smoking, crack-puffing graffiti artists put on there. It's a selfie. By George, that's what it is. It's a cotton-picking selfie. So if you can read any of these, you're a whole lot smarter fellow than I am. This is Pwalpar. Thank you for listening to my vlog and watching my video. Your opinion, one way or the other, if you don't like me criticizing graffiti, tell me about it. Then again, maybe if I smoked some of that stuff, I could read what's on the side of these cars. I bet that's what it is. You gotta have something in your system to twist your brain around enough to read that mess.